All right, I got that. And see if I can share my screen.
Great. So I think we can call to order. I think we have a motion in there. So we just have to vote. Is everybody ready? All right. Great. It looks like there is no public comments unless I'm missing something. But so we can move on to the approval of the minutes, which I actually did not really approve the minutes. Did I miss those? Oh no, they're right in here.
And I had them up and I've lost them. So, and now I can't get to them. I can't minimize while I'm recording. So let me see if I can, where I lost them.
Oh, that's okay. All right. I think I'm okay to go ahead and approve the minutes. We have a motion on here, sort of approval of the minutes.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes.
Okay.
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, great. So we just have a couple of agenda items, and I did make some edits today. I don't know if I share my screen or if I could just email everybody at this point, because we can't really pass out papers.
I can see if I can make you host, Lauren.
Okay.
Make host. You should have access to share your screen now if you'd like.
Okay. So let's see. Thank you, Paul, for getting this going.
Yeah.
I just want to share a window because otherwise you have to kind of zoom in. Oh man, why is this not show all windows? There we go. Okay, I just have a lot of windows open and I might just have to share a screen. No, here we go. Okay, there you go. So I made a few edits. I tracked the changes, but I'm a professor and I get a little out of control of my editing. So yeah, it was really great. I mostly just changed a lot of the wording and stuff in the kind of the middle paragraph and did a little wordsmithing. And I would say if I had to summarize the change, it's really, I went to the Middleton website and I looked at the mission and I put that in there. And that's the opening sentence of the second paragraph. The Middleton Police Department's mission is to make a positive difference in the quality of life in our community, and having that be sort of the driving focus of kind of the reasons to do that. And then I was trying to think about, and I don't know if we want to word it as like, you know, you'd be understaffed otherwise and what that would mean, but that's what I put in there. And just that could lead to retention issues, which was in the original draft, and then tried to kind of make it like just more salient for anybody reading it, that, you know, we'd miss out on kind of that part that really is about building trust with the community and kind of leading to like these longer term goals. But I think go ahead, Terry.
Yeah, I have a question. So the real reason that we want to increase the budget is to increase the number of police officers as well, right?
Yeah.
Do we want to, I mean, Troy, what's your ideal number? Or maybe what's your ideal number, and then what's realistic?
That's a great question. According to the staffing study, by the end of 23, we're supposed to be up 6 more patrol officers. I think that's a little excessive. I don't think we need to be there, but we do need to add 1 or 2, I think, in the next couple of years. Realistically, if I get 1 based on what I'm hearing with the budget, I'd be happy with that. We need to continue to grow. And I really think that middle paragraph does a really good job of summarizing a lot. Is that, as I mentioned at our last meeting, we're going to become a very reactive department if we can't continue to add staff, as we're just going to be responding from call to call. So if I get 1 staff just to show that we're able to continue to grow as a department, as the city grows, I would be pretty happy with that. But I think that staffing study does a really good job of an outside consulting, taking a look at our calls for service, how quickly we should be responding to those really emergency calls that they call priority 2, and then the priority 3 calls, which are like the follow-up calls They do a really nice job, or I think the report does a nice job of summarizing what is needed to maintain those services that our community has come to expect of the police department over the last 15, 20 years. And we'll lose some of those services if we can't start adding staff.
So I think it would be really important to mention that, study right up top and include that. I think that's a compelling piece, and to kind of show that we're not asking for everything. We're asking for what can really maintain and sustain us as we move forward. Maybe we can add a line, Laura, and everyone, if you're open, that we would like to continue to, eventually move toward that a recommended number, but given other circumstances, we know that it can't happen overnight.
Yeah, I kind of left a placeholder in that. I like the idea of bringing that out. I wasn't sure like what the specific request is, and it's not just a hire, because it's like, is it increasing the overall head count? There's probably a specific budget request.
Yeah, there is, Laura. So I've requested 2 additional police officers and 1 dispatcher, and that is all based on the staffing study. And that has been, I think those 3 requests have been in the staffing study from 2019. So we're still trying to get the numbers that were recommended in 2019, 2020.
Well, I didn't look up the latest census numbers. Did anybody else? Do we know what the percent increase in population was over a 10-year time frame?
I didn't look it up.
I don't know if I was told that the true numbers haven't been released yet, Terry, but I'm not sure about that. Somebody did say they thought it was around 21,000 for the city of Middleton, but I tried looking it up, and the actual numbers about a week ago, I didn't see any final numbers unless somebody else has seen them.
That's a really good point.
I'm sorry, I really did mean to look that up before this meeting, but I completely forgot. But I think, I don't know if we want to wait. Obviously, it's urgent to get this letter over as soon as possible, but I'll try to look at it while we're having this meeting.
Okay.
The only thing I have is on the big paragraph, and like the 7th and 10th line, understaffed twice, understaffed police, and then understaffed police. Maybe a different word or something that just because they line up right there, and so it automatically pulls my eye to.
Yeah, I need a suggestion.
Yeah.
I did some quick edits this afternoon, and it was a little repetitive.
I mean, the cheat answer for me was like spacing of moving your margin over, and that would take that initial understaffed to the right side of the page, and then it wouldn't draw anybody's eye there. But just because U is an unusual letter.
Okay, probably I should reword this one sentence. That doesn't make sense to me now. Struggle.
Yeah. I think that looks fine.
Okay, this is more of a department function. So I'm gonna put police department. That probably will lead to other changes that need to be made, but.
I don't see anything else that stands out.
How about the middle paragraph that has a bold face? Paul put some placeholders in there about which committees we'd send the letter to. Maybe it would be both, so maybe we'd have two versions of the letter. I wasn't sure. And then I put in the boldface parts are kind of new, where I wasn't really sure what we were asking for. So I put that in, and I just wanted to kind of double check with the group.
Yeah, no, when I saw that, that's why I figured, and it makes sense to do it that way. So we're sending it to the right people with the right heading.
Okay.
90% of the battle in the budget, at least when I was on city council, 90% of the battles in the finance committee. Once it makes it out of the finance committee, making big changes, hell, even making small changes is difficult. So that's why I thought we could send one to the finance committee and then either send one simultaneously to the council to grease the skids, or to wait to see what the finance committee does to see if we need to send one to the council. What do you think, Troy? You've been through this before.
Well, I think you're spot on. I agree. I think the majority of the decisions are made in the finance committee, but it wouldn't hurt to also send it to all the council members.
Yeah, could there possibly be a chance that a council member would then preemptively talk to the finance? Hey, I got this thing. I know you guys have a committee. So maybe there could be some cross benefit.
I know some of the council members do attend the finance committee meetings. I don't know how many. I think it kind of varies, but I don't think it would hurt to send it to the council.
When I was there during budget season, I believe there was mandatory attendance for all council to be at the finance committee meetings during the budget deliberations. Now, of course, mandatory doesn't really mean mandatory. Can't make them go, but everybody did go.
Okay, well, we can definitely do that. And I would just clean up the spot at the top. Do we want to, we're missing April tonight, but you know, only my name is on the letter, but I feel like it's from the whole
Yeah,
commission.
I think I would be fine adding all of our names on there.
Okay, I would say at least we should say that we, voted and what the vote was, and but I think all of our names would be good.
Yeah, because if it's left this way, they could assume, is it just you speaking as an individual with that? But if everybody's name's on it, then I think it adds more weight to it.
Okay, maybe I can just list our names here.
Yep.
Spelling test. I don't know. Could look bad because we're missing somebody. We can't speak for April.
Well, technically speaking, you could talk to her after this meeting because you wouldn't have a quorum. So you'd be within the limits of open records to see if she'd be willing to join in
Okay,
informally.
okay. Thanks. Any other thoughts?
I think it looks good.
Yes,
Okay.
I agree.
So I could, I think we could have a motion to approve it in spirit with the idea that I'd make the changes and make the 2 letters with 1 to each committee.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I just wanted to double check. Troy, do you think that we're missing anything that could help us make a stronger argument? I was just looking at like stories real quick on other communities that have secured additional funding recently, have increased funding for police rather than decrease. And those are usually related to lots of criminal incidents that sparks the need to, yeah. So when things are running really smoothly, it's harder to convince people, I imagine.
You're correct. Yeah, so that's what I've been reading too, is the communities that have been allocating more resources to the police departments are seeing pretty significant increases in violent crime. I think the letter is well written. I think this will show the support of adding staff from the police commission, and I believe the public safety committee is also looking to do something similar. So I think what we have here would be just fine, and I appreciate everybody's support in trying to add additional staff as again, as the city grows and as the demand on the police department also increases. I just don't want to see us stop providing services that the community expects from us. I think that's what makes our community pretty special and allows us to build those relationships with our citizens. And when we become reactive, we don't have time to do that. So I appreciate all the support.
And truly, I know we don't have evidence, but being proactive in funding and continuing the community outreach programs that you've invested so much in, I'd rather not invested. We're saving money in the long run because we don't have to be reactive. We don't have to clean up really horrible messes, and we're saving lives down the road. So
Yeah, I gave some thought to that, Terry, ahead of time. I tried to fit in a few things that I thought of, and the one thing I didn't include was, the triple accreditation, the commitment to following best practices, the commitment to hiring a diverse workforce. And that's also part of the reason why there's not messes to clean up, because they're not created to begin with when you follow best practices, and everybody's getting the training that they need. But I didn't know how to put that in there.
can someone who's been to more meetings, what is the biggest reason or argument that they've given for not approving your budget request or a higher budget?
Just a lack of funding through the tax levy limits that have been imposed on all municipalities throughout the state. I truly believe that they know that there's a need. It's just there's not enough funding to support any city staff, and in my case, any police department staff request. So there is a need. They know it. They just don't know how they're going to accomplish it with the budget constraints that they have.
Sorry, and one more question about salaries for city employees and for police departments. When is the next time they'll be reviewing the salary levels and COLA percentages for the next fiscal year, et cetera?
Yeah, great question. So every 5 years they do like a salary study, and they just completed that last year. And they're in the midst of kind of compiling all the data, the information from the state, and trying to figure out what the budget's going to be like for next year to determine COLA. So there's been no determination made of that yet, but I think we'll be hearing more about that in the next month or two as the budget discussions continue with finance and council members.
The challenge is that you're doing a good job and you have a good reputation, and because there aren't problems, everybody thinks everything's running smoothly, seamless. So where's the need? That's probably what they're wondering, but compared to other needs the community has. Paul and Laura, thank you very much for your work on this. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
We have to vote.
All right.
Yeah, I think there's a
Are we
motion.
ready?
Yeah.
All right. All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
All right, passes unanimously. Great. I don't have a lot of experience with this stuff, but I have been used as an expert once by EMS commissions, and it really is just what Troy said. I mean, it's hard to be the #1 priority if you're not K-12 schools sometimes. And that's always a challenge. In academia, I always find that it's good to have a few priorities that are really important, and sometimes you have to keep pushing them and keep having the conversations, and then there gets to be buy-in, and then I don't know, sometimes things just come together and you've been working on it, you've got stuff ready to go. So I don't know if that makes sense here, but if it's not successful the first time, we've got the letters ready to go, we've got the argument, people will have heard it, maybe it will make it easier, but I hope it is successful the first time. And they probably have heard some of these messages before, and now it's coming from us. All right, well, I guess I can stop sharing if I can figure, here we go. We can move on to the rest of the agenda. I have it up somewhere. So the next agenda item, which is our second and last agenda item, is the update on the chief interview step in the recruitment process.
Yes, just a quick update based on some of the questions from Terry and Laura, I think, and other committee members from our last meeting. I did reach out to our HR director, and he had some of the same concerns based on not having like a set group of questions and a scoring matrix. So that is something we're going to work on moving forward for any of the future chief interviews. So I want to thank you for bringing that to my attention, and something that we'll definitely make sure that we implement moving forward. So I just want to give everybody an update that I did check with our HR manager, and he had a lot of the same concerns of liability on the city and even on myself by not having a set of questions and some scoring matrix. So thank you for the input on that, and we'll make those changes.
Thanks for following up. I'm
Yeah.
always learning from HR myself.
I just put together some evaluation criteria worksheets today for a research leader position we're hiring. If you want to see an example, they're quite simple, but it is nice to have. It protects the hiring official. So thank you.
If you're okay sharing that, if you are okay sharing some of that, I would love to have that, because
Sure.
I think some of the problems that we have as the city is we really didn't have an HR department and a full-time one until the last year or two. So a lot of these things were implemented by department heads. So we're kind of learning of things that we can improve and things that we got to make sure that it's not a liability on ourselves and the city. So I appreciate everybody pointing out some of their concerns with that and making sure that we're doing things right. So yeah, if you can share that, I'd really appreciate it.
Cool. Anything else? Well, I think we can adjourn. Before we adjourn, what do I need to do to follow up with the letter? I can contact April. I'll clean up the letter a little bit, maybe give her a copy of the one and follow up with that. And then we have, Troy, can you follow up with me again on the timeline? You sent me a bunch of dates, but I was sort of overwhelmed with getting things back to campus, and I wasn't sure which dates were the most important, but I don't want to sit on this.
Definitely. I will get back to you. And if you need email addresses, contact information, I can also provide that too.
Okay. And I'll try to hopefully I'll hear back from April, and then I can send things out this weekend, and I'll, I have everybody's email so I can copy the group. Cool. All right. So now I think we really are ready to adjourn.
I will make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Well, thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
This was
Thank
lovely.
you.
Yes. Have a good night.
All right.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.